blueberries and mangoes on waffles made with oat bran, flax, and almond flour. And that's what got top of the stack against these other movies. And I will talk about them, and then James will talk. I'm not going to read a poem today because, well, I just don't feel like it. I wrote a poem, but it's not a happy one, so I don't feel like reading it. So that's that. So, it's kind of cool.
Is this the one I was hearing last night where it was a big shoot 'em up?
It was so good.
It was. Well, you just got to
really,
yeah.
It was very entertaining.
Okay. Well,
so I never would have guessed that a Fast and the Furious movie would make top of the stack. And if you told me that a movie, like I think that's the Jason Stockhouse from like Sookie Stockhouse's brother from True Blood. So if you told me he was one of the stars of a Fast and the Furious movie that would make top of the stack, I wouldn't believe it, right? But it was entertaining. And honestly, a lot of the story was, I mean, to a certain extent, believable. Like money that's been used for a while, it does end up going and getting destroyed, right? So it has to go somewhere to be destroyed officially, and so this isn't so out of the question that this might happen. I mean, we heard there was an incident where people were doing the same sort of thing with coupons. So they were stealing, coupons worth whatever.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. And
but
that
you used to
really
collect
happens.
coupons, so it would have caught your attention.
Well, I don't really collect coupons. I've never found it worthwhile, but apparently in the United States it can be very worthwhile to do so. But
you did a little bit.
Barely.
And it seemed worthwhile.
When? I don't.
No, that was, you used to about 20 years ago.
Man, I hardly ever get coupons. Like sometimes
no,
we went to the bulk bar.
Yeah, something like that.
But I don't. Anyway, I haven't made a point of it. It's just sometimes if they happen to cross my path and they're of use, but I haven't found, like, people talk about the big coupon savers or whatever. I don't know how they manage to do it, but anyway.
I think it takes a lot of time, so that's an investment that a person has to balance how much time they put in and how much to get out.
I don't know. I mean, here in the coupons that we have in Canada, they're usually one per customer, and all that sort of thing. So I don't know how they manage to do it where they get more. But anyway, this was very entertaining. The whole the hurricane vehicle that was built like a tank was really awesome, and I'm sure anybody would like to see that. And there were a lot of entertainment. It was very good. So, and Christmas Manger, boy, did I ever not expect this to get this high up on a stack either. For a while, I thought this was going to get the top.
Just from the packaging.
Yeah, but it was actually pretty well done. Tara Reid was in this, so she has a name for herself. And anyway, I don't know. There's a story here, and they tell it all right. So I don't know how many people would be interested in that. But
Dwayne Johnson.
Skyscraper. Now, there was a lot of great action in this. Like,
I thought you were going to say great acting, and I was going, what?
No, not
honestly,
not that.
I thought you were going to say.
But especially the daughter, wow, she was bad. But I mean, child actors, right? It's tough working with children. So, but he does some great stunts, or whoever does the stunts in this. It's awesome.
Something else.
And I mean, there's one thing. He's they have him, like, it's a great big skyscraper, and he's climbing up this big crane up to the top or whatever. And you're thinking, this is kind of, because he's really, really muscular, so you think kind of like, kind of looks like King Kong climbing. I don't know if they meant that, but
rock climbers are built like weasels.
Yeah, yeah, he's, anyway.
And he looks a bit chunked out in this. Am I imagining things?
I don't know, but okay. I liked a lot of the stunts, whatever. It's just, there were a lot of things that were absolutely silly. I didn't understand a lot of the point of the building, like the room that has a hole, but it's like a hole of mirrors sort of thing. But I didn't understand the point of that at all. I didn't understand, like, it made great for the ending of the movie, you know, near whatever the action, but it didn't make any sense that would be in this building. And also the big garden where there's the bridge and then the fire, and it was pretty ridiculous. So
I don't think that's going to bother the Dwayne Johnson.
No, I don't suppose. I mean, you're watching it because you want to see some good stunts and whatever, and you get them. So.
And you know, like, it's not going to challenge anyone's intelligence, is it?
So, French Exit, Michelle Pfeiffer. I've seen this one before. It's the one with the cat. I'd forgotten which one it was when I picked it out, but I shouldn't have, because there's the cat right there. But I didn't. He kind of blends in.
He's got character, eh?
He really is.
He blends in, but then you see the eyes, and he actually steals that photo, you know?
Yeah, he has to. The story is, So, anyway, it's kind of long, and it's kind of tough to relate to her and whatever, but the cat is an interesting twist to the movie. It's just, I don't know. I've seen it before. It wasn't great the first time, and this wasn't great the first time, and not great the second time either. I watched this one before, and I must have been doing something else, like cooking or something, and I'd missed a lot of the movie, so the last time it didn't make any sense to me at all. But this time it made some sense, but honestly, it's just not very good. AWOL-72 with, I don't know, how do you say that rapper's name? RZA?
I have no idea. Yeah. RZA maybe?
I don't know what.
Arza?
I'm not sure. But anyway.
Is it any rapper worth worrying about?
No, bottom of the stack. So I was thinking for a while, well, you know, this might not be so bad as, like, they mentioned CSI Miami in this, and I thought, well, this might not be so bad as a CSI Miami sort of episode. And then I finally, you know, after a while, I was like, no, it's not even good as that. So it's just, and I don't really care for CSI Miami.
No, that one. Was that one? I think that one was even worse than the New York one.
Yeah, it was.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Easily little guy.
He was so bad.
Taking criminals down.
Yeah.
The way they don't do in CSI.
Yeah, he was diffusing bombs and everything. He was really ridiculous. So you have 20 minutes.
Oh,
if you think you can talk for that long.
I usually can. So again, I'm going to be chowing down while I'm yapping. If you don't like that, tune out. I really don't care if you don't like it or not. It's your choice. I'm not imposing on you. So yeah, I'll be talking, maybe not with my mouth exactly full, but I'll be chowing. No, fair warning. Spoiler alert. Oh, what do I not want to talk about? I think that's maybe when I finally get a show of my own or something like that. That's what I'll call it. What I don't want to talk about. Because there are all sorts of stupid folks out there getting involved in all sorts of trouble, getting everyone else involved. their silly, stupid scenarios for changing the world for the better. And this is people right, left, of center, up, down, forwards and back. All you guys. I think there's some sensible people out there, but the majority of people are just flying away from the center and involved in crazy schemes. So this includes militias, it includes the Trumpists, the trumpeters, it includes Antifa, it includes any variety of fundamentalist religions. It includes people who call themselves the Great Misnomer. One of the great. There are lots of them, like German Democratic Republic, East Germany. That's one of the great misnomers. But social democrats nowadays, they've done the bait and switch. You're going around saying, initially, Americans are responsible for the people that were the descendants of slaves way back when, and in the United States, and indigenous people, Canada, indigenous people. Now, some or another, I guess it's because we are supposed to, it doesn't happen, but supposed to benefit from the ill-gotten gains of capitalists. So now we're responsible for the whole world. We gotta let people in. We're responsible for all these societies being ruined. And the funny thing is, ever since the Europeans got out of places like Africa, we've seen real ruination. Well, I know that's politically incorrect, but I'm afraid it's factually correct. Look at Rhodesia. Robert Mugabe takes over. Took him about 20 years to have a famine, but basically a commie, a Nazi commie. In other words, he's a nationalist, or was. An extreme nationalist, and also looks as though he had something like a communist. At least he would want to have introduced a communist type of economic and, frankly, social system.
Do you need more mango?
I could use more mango. I love mango.
Okay, well, I'll get you some.
I was raised on mango. I was born in Africa. Had 2 stints there. My first 5 years. And from ages 8 to 10, roughly 2 years. And all the places we lived in that I can recall, I can only recall 2, had mango trees, lots of them, lots and lots. When they're in season, we kind of gorged on them. We even, like the mangoes that drop to the ground, some of them would be rotten. We'd feed the rotten mango to ants and then take bets. We'd draw circles around the ants, take bets on which ant would make it out of the circle, because they'd get drunk, I guess, on the mango juice and stuff like that. They'd be going around in circles and wouldn't be able to find their way out. I don't think it's killed them. They just had a fun old time. We do different things, Generally, that was on our driveway. We had a big driveway. We had a big fancy house. Well, it was big. It wasn't that fancy. Brick house. Because we didn't have any of the fixings inside, in the sense of with no running water, no electricity. We had a wooden stove, a wood stove, not a wooden stove. And no flush toilets. We were hardly living in style by comparison with standards, even on Canada then, and particularly the standards nowadays, or at least up until 2020. Something happened to the world then. We're kind of on a downward slope. We've chosen it. These are people on the right and left wing. And to a large extent in between too. We're just kind of chosen to head into what I'm afraid is going to be the Dark Ages, part 2. It's our choice though, if we turn it around. At least for a while. We got something like a democracy. People on right and left wing, the Trumpists, aren't that enthused about it. The relatively extreme left-wingers pay lip service to democracy, but every time you mention democracy, no, we don't have democracy, no, they'll poo-poo democracy as it's existing. The amazing thing is they benefit immensely from the very democratic freedom of speech they're allowed. Of course, when they get in control in the university, particularly in the so-called humanities, really the inhumanities, very few exceptions, they start witch hunting like the crypto-communists that they are. I think the only thing they regret about that is that they can't kill the people whose jobs they take, or whose jobs they take away. But they like contracting out their killing to others. Like they're kind of cowards, so they contract out commies. One religious group, fundamentalist religious group, and it varies. There's in some parts of the world this religious group I'm talking about is about 30% fundamentalist, extreme fundamentalist. In the Middle East, probably guessing which religion I'm talking about. It's about 70% fundamentalist. Some places even higher than that. I'm talking about extreme fundamentalists, where there's a belief in death penalty for leaving the religion, death penalty for dissing the religion. Right? That kind of religion, social democrats have no truck with, if they have any pretensions towards being democratic. And frankly, to not being antisocial. So those kind of social democrats are undemocratic, anti-socialism. In other words, they're anti-social. They're not just asocial, anti-social. Nasty folks. I don't see much difference between them and what they should be. Especially when you get the Antifa types. Holier than thou violence. And the big trouble is they're using each other as an excuse to radicalize the center. Well, you better go with us or else the Trumpists will take over. You better go with us, i.e. the Trumpists and militias, or the Antifa will take over. The commies and anarchists will take over. As I've mentioned before, something similar, very similar, happened in the 30s. Basically throughout the world. World War II was the result. And I've heard figures of up to 65 million people dead. And that was all but maybe the last week or so of World War II. There were no atomic weapons. So good luck if we're launched into something similar to something like World War II. I call it, the world is actually quite a while. Ever since 1990, the Americans won largely on their own. The grudging, not so much cooperation, but okay from Europe and Canada. So that was against the commies, at least the Russian commies. And then, once that happened, 1991, right away Osama bin Laden launches World War IV. So that's Islam against, well, presumably against the United States, but wake up and smell the coffee, it's against the whole world, the rest of the world, including Shia Islam. Ten minutes?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, 8, 7, perhaps, something like that.
So, and then China, since Xi Jinping took over, I think he took over in 2014. He kind of put to rest any pretensions People's Republic of China had towards being good world citizens. Kind of had a lot to do with unleashing a certain plague on the world. I'm not going to mention which plague. Maybe it's not even a plague at all, as I don't want the internet trying to shut down this source of information. And that's information, not misinformation or disinformation. Getting a lot of it on the internet. You're getting it straight from the shoulder here. So China is basically, and this is a world war against the whole world. Don't, China's getting all sorts of raw materials from Africa and telling their leaders, as I was mentioning the other day, do whatever you like domestically. You don't mess with us. Just make sure the goods are delivered. You get lots of money from us, or a fair amount. Not what the raw materials are really worth. But it's just latter day colonialism, which is largely a misnomer. It'll eventually end up being paleo-imperialism, not neo-imperialism. You understand, when you so-called social democrats, that's the majority of people who silence us, there are exceptions. There are some being used by the majority of social democrats. Used, and eventually they'd be abused. I kind of lost my train of thought. It sounded as though someone was starting World War V. But anyway, and I think even before the People's Republic of China launched their effort to take out the world, Vladimir Putin, I think it started with, more than anything else, with Georgia 2008. And that's not the one in the United States. It's the one in it's one of the former so-called republics of the Soviet Union. But definitely, once he started trying to maintain Russian hold in Syria, apparently there are 2 naval bases, Russian naval bases in Syria and the Mediterranean. He didn't want to lose his, I'd say hold, but it'd be more like a claw grip on the Mediterranean. And started doing atrocities in Syria. The world's biggest terrorist in the 21st century is Vladimir Putin. Now, Osama bin Laden had his druthers. He would have got maybe 30,000 people. I've heard different reports as to how many people were in the Twin Towers when they got dive bombed, kamikaze, or whatever. Only 3,000 were killed, thank heaven. But yeah, we're right now in not quite the throes, but beginning of stages of World War V. It's China against the rest of the world, People's Republic. And there's lots of overlap, right? So the fundamentalist Muslims are going against the Russians in Syria. People's Republic of China launching plagues on the world. I don't mention which plagues. At least one. Well, they've been doing it on and off for over 20 years now. Really. No, I think about it. And yeah, actually it's probably like World War VI. The Iranians with their attack on Israel, terrorist attack. We had folks in Canada cheering that terrorist attack on. Those folks doing those demonstrations should have been rounded up. Anyone who's not a Canadian citizen should have been deported. If no country would take them, or if the countries where they would be deported to had the death penalty, then they've got to be put in jail for life until some country's going to take them, or until some country takes them. You can't have folks cheering terrorism on. What do you do? Like in Germany, you can't even do. There are folks who'll do this because they're not allowed to do this salute. They do this. When you're cheering on terrorism, that's like cheering on Nazism. Okay? Oh, they're people of color. I don't draw a distinction between peoples of color. I don't care whether a person is a member of ANC and is an African, or if they're a member of Robert Mugabe's scumbag assortment of whatever coalition he's got going or used to have going, or Hitler's Nazis, or Mussolini's fascisti. I don't care. I don't care what color you are. You should be considered a criminal, a war criminal, or someone involved with crimes against humanity. At the very least, deported. No one will take you, put in jail.